The boy who healed her chains. The boy stood barefoot on the marble doorstep, clutching nothing but the courage inherited from generations past. 12-year-old Daniel Thompson didn't look like a savior. His t-shirt was faded, his shorts torn at the hem, and his hands bore the quiet scars of poverty and responsibility. But in his wide, unwavering eyes burned something that no one could buy. Ancient, bone-deep wisdom. Victoria Whitmore laughed. Not a laugh of joy, but the brittle, venomous cackle of a woman who used cruelty as armor. "Do you really think I would believe some Macumba from a slum kid?" she sneered, her steel blue eyes cold and glinting. She sat perched in her custom-designed wheelchair like a queen atop a lonely throne. The boy's presence offended her, like a stain on white linen, like a truth she had spent years burying. But Daniel didn't flinch. "I can help you walk again," he said, his voice calm, clear, firm. "I just need your leftovers. The food you throw away every day." Victoria blinked. That boldness, no hesitation, no stammering, no begging, cut through her like a scalpel. "I've spent $15 million on the best doctors in the world." "Don't insult me, little girl. I'm a boy," Daniel interrupted, not defiantly, just gently correcting her as if they were equals. And they all missed something. Victoria's laugh echoed again, bouncing off the cold marble walls of the mansion. But this time there was a tremor beneath it that Daniel's eyes studied her the way his grandmother had taught him, like reading the symptoms of a deeper disease. You take 3 white pills and 1 blue one every day at 2 p.m. for your back pain. And you complain that your legs feel cold, even in summer. Victoria froze. Her fingers twitched on the armrest. "How do you know that?" Daniel had watched her from across the street for weeks. Not with resentment, but with empathy. Through the cracked blinds of his grandmother's apartment, he'd seen what others missed. How her legs tensed when she was angry. How her toes curled unconsciously during nightmares. "Because I see what your doctors don't. You're not paralyzed. You're imprisoned in your mind." She slammed the door in his face, but it was too late. He had already planted the seed. The root of the sickness across the street, in a home no larger than Victoria's closet, Daniel sat with his grandmother, Ruth Thompson, sipping herbal tea steeped in centuries of healing. She was more than a retired hospital worker. She was the last in a long line of Black women who had carried the knowledge of the body and the soul through slavery, segregation, and systemic dismissal. "She's not sick in the body," Daniel said softly. "Her spirit is what's broken." Ruth smiled, placing her weathered hand over his. "You saw it," she said. "Just like I did. Pseudo-paralysie. Mind over body. Trauma that locks the muscles when the soul can't cope. Rich doctors don't treat that. They don't even believe in it. But our people have lived it." Fear in the marble halls. Victoria couldn't sleep. That night, she lay staring at the chandelier, every crystal shimmering with the weight of shame she couldn't name. The boy's words haunted her. How did he know? The next morning, she demanded answers. Daniel Thompson, her assistant, read. 12. Lives with Grandmother Ruth Thompson in Riverside Gardens. Mother died in a car crash. Father unknown. Full academic scholarship. Straight A student. No criminal record. Victoria rolled her eyes. Just another street rat pretending to be special. But when she saw Ruth's name, she paled. Ruth Thompson, she knew that name. The woman who had worked in her family's home, who had cared for her husband's dying mother, who had once touched her own wrist with warm hands and told her, "You carry too much cold in your blood, baby girl." She remembered laughing, dismissing it. Now her legs hadn't moved in 8 years. The war begins. Daniel's courage had shaken something loose in Victoria, and she responded the only way she knew how, through control, through punishment. She called the school, accused him of harassment, threatened to revoke her foundation's donation. The principal complied. Daniel was warned. One more step out of line, and the scholarship that carried his dreams would be gone. She called their building superintendent. Complaints began to pile up. Noise violations, trash reports, surprise inspections. The message was clear: disappear or be erased. Daniel sat in the dim kitchen, head bowed. "She's trying to crush me, Grandma." Ruth nodded. "Because she's terrified of you. And people with power will burn down the world before they admit they're afraid of someone who isn't." Then she leaned closer. "But the difference is you've got something she never will. You have the truth." The truth beneath the marble. Daniel began researching, not with bitterness, but with precision. He uncovered the secrets Victoria buried beneath wealth and whitewashed walls. She wasn't born a Whitmore. She was Victoria Kowalski, daughter of Polish immigrants, poor as dirt. She married rich fast. One day, after discovering her husband was divorcing her, the accident happened. 1 week before his mysterious death, the will was changed. The fortune came to her. The diagnosis of paralysis, delivered by a well-paid neurologist. But that wasn't all. Her husband's mother? Cured of terminal cancer by Ruth, through herbal treatments, dietary discipline, and spiritual care. The family thought chemo had worked. It hadn't. Ruth never asked for credit, only peace. Daniel now saw Victoria for what she really was: a woman drowning in guilt, addicted to power, paralyzed not by injury, but by shame. "She's not in a wheelchair because she can't walk," he whispered. "She's in it because she can't face herself." The reckoning on a Sunday morning, the boy returned, this time to the front door. With him stood Ruth and another figure from the past, Dr. Patricia Williams, the neurologist who once signed off on Victoria's fake condition. Victoria's face turned to stone. "What is this?" "You're healing," Daniel said softly. They laid out the truth. The videos of Victoria walking in secret. The recordings of her bribing doctors. The falsified will. The toxicology report. The medical cover-ups. "Get up," Daniel said, not cruelly, but like a father coaxing a frightened child. Victoria trembled. I can't get up." The word struck like lightning. Her body moved. Instinct. Emotion. Denial collapsing like a dying star. She stood. Silence fell. The world stopped turning for a heartbeat. After the fall, the sirens wailed. The police came, and so did justice, fraud, murder, perjury. Victoria Whitmore, once an icon of power, was sentenced to 25 years. And in her new wheelchair, worn and rusted, her real paralysis began. Not in the legs, but in the soul. Healing begins 6 months later. The mansion was reborn as the Ruth Thompson Community Healing Center. Children once invisible to the world now had hope, classrooms, food, and dignity. Daniel, now 14, was accepted into Harvard Medical School. The youngest ever. He refused to give interviews. "My grandmother says real healers don't chase fame. They chase understanding." Victoria wrote him a letter from prison. It was short. "I understand now. I'm sorry." Daniel never responded, but he prayed for her, because he had learned that real power doesn't come from revenge. It comes from lifting up the very souls who once tried to crush yours.